Hello, greetings, beloved human family. I am Gilles. I wanted to pass by today to wish you a good day, to greet you and to celebrate your I am presence. For we are going through 3 days that are very important. Today is Good Friday, and we're going to move into those 3 days till Easter Friday. It's a time of resurrection, a time of upgrade, to create a new you. And so there is this great opportunity for embracing the new and allowing the old to go, to forget about all those old struggles in order to move into a space that is far more free and enjoyable. From an astrological point of view, we have this sun and Uranus in Aries, and then we have Jupiter and the Moon in the full moon that was opposing it in Libra, and then made a square to Pluto, so that creates a great deal of potential for transformation. We do have to understand that all those planets are assistants. They work on the unconscious level until we become conscious of their presence, and then we are able to draw on power to return ourselves to a more empowered state. For each planet has its own frequency and its own mission to return certain power to ourselves, to heal those parts of ourselves that are wounded, in order to return ourselves to the full creatorship potential. There are countless small planets also that come into play in this interaction, and often they smooth out, they make it easier. They're not yet taken into consideration by astrologer, for there are so many of them. Also, I wanted to speak about Mercury. Mercury is when Mercury goes retrograde. Mercury is the messenger of the sun, and so it is always there to take this energy of the sun and to bring it into our mind in a way that is comprehensible to the change that are happening in human life. But when it goes retrograde, this perception is being somewhat dissipated, and so we do not quite understand what the sun is saying, and so that forces us to review, to go back into the past in order to give us some time to adjust and do all kinds of things that are very useful. Most planets will do that when they are retrograde. The only planet that will double its power when it's retrograde is the planet Chiron. For Chiron will definitely enhance even its power when it comes into retrograde. We have to understand that there are no failure. Everything we desire may not come into being right away, but there is, if there is a true desire, no matter how many times we may chance to seek to find it and feel like we do not succeed, it is only delays. Delays is part of the process. However, it is very important that we seek to live in joy, to live in happiness, to live in the light, and that is the alpha and the omega. The more we are able to see life through pink glasses, the easier our life will flow. For there is always a bright side to life, and it is only karma that interferes, that prevents us from seeing that. And so we do want to see, to integrate and become the presence of truth, the presence of love, the presence of beauty, the presence of goodness. All those things are really what we seek to integrate. And the more we are able to integrate that, the easier things go. And sometimes the circumstances outside of ourselves do not reflect that higher function, but we have still the ability and the responsibility to keep that frequency within ourselves. Because in the first in Dante's comedy, the first phrase of that book kind of resume the wholeness of human experience. For in the middle of our life, in the middle of the course of our life, I lost the true way, and I find myself lost in the deep forest. For Dante explains the side of human beings that we need to lose our way in order to discover more. For if we knew our eternal self, for we are really truly eternal and infinite, but when we come here, we apply ourselves to all kinds of experiences. And so we have to harvest everything that we do in time. We have to harvest in eternity. So it is good to stay focused, to allow ourselves to live in faith, to live in trust, to be as serene as possible, and not to be attached to result. So we have to follow our GPS, our own internal guiding system, and that is the heart. For we have been taught to educate it, to look at things from dark, light, good, bad, high, low, pretty ugly and all those things. So all those duality, but in truth, all of it is love. All of it is just everybody are divine child of God. They are beloved children of God that are infinitely loved by the Creator. It is just some of them are playing the roles in the illusion of time. They're playing the role of good guy, the bad guy, the high, the low, the beauty. And we have to go through all those things to truly understand and return to love, return to the, eventually when we understand the whole cosmic play of creation, we are able to return to that sphere of love, that's our true self. It is also something to celebrate, is the transcendental resurrection of Jesus during this Friday, the great master, the beloved. There are three things that he said that I really want to return to. That the first thing he says, love one another just as I have loved you and as your Father loves you. So love is the essential. It is once we understand that the soul wants to love, and everything was created from love. Everything that is not love was created by ignorance and fear and the ego. The second thing is that the true kingdom of God is within you, so it is to seek it. We have to seek it out inside our heart. This is where the heart is the doorway to love, and God is love. So in a sense, when we speak of Dante, who's quite famous, don't need to say who's Dante, but when in his book La Vida Nuevo, he kind of explored the depths of human relationship between true love in human form, but he sees also the failure of that when you get rejected, and then in the comedy he kind of discovered true divine love, yet understanding that in order to achieve that true divine love, he has to integrate the human love within it. And so it is all part of the process. So we do want to unify our mind to see that all of it is love and education, and in the same time we want to heal our emotional body by unconditional forgiveness. For unconditional forgiveness is what the Christ came to teach, unconditional love and forgiveness. There is no ascension while anybody holds a grudge on something or is been grabbed by any kind of social or political or anything like that. For we have to live it ourselves, forgive ourselves for all imaginary or real mistakes that we made, and the same thing for others. From there we may find freedom. Then there is a purification of the physical body as well. Yet we have to understand we are not our body, we are not our thoughts, we are not our emotion, and we are not the circumstances of our life. When we turn into the ascension frequency, we may discover that we had many past lives, many personas that we've incarnated in the past. But even that is not, we do not want to get stuck in that process. For those were just personas, and the true self of who we are is not who we are in this life, is not who we were in a past life, it is something else altogether. And this is what we want to reconnect to that eternal, infinite self that is it is truly the most important thing, and to understand that there is no limit in infinity. So we are able to move into this great void and allow the guidance to be coming from within. For the focus needs to be on you. Your happiness, your joy, it has to take precedence over everything else. That being said, there is the golden rule: do not do unto others what you wouldn't want to be done unto you, or do no harm, so to speak. From there, your happiness is really the essential part, and the more you can focus on that, joy, happiness, passion, what brings you joy, what brings you pleasure, what makes you feel good in a natural way, if possible, that will definitely the path to choose. So I'm going to pull out a few cards very briefly to give advice, guidance for the day, what Spirit wants to communicate with us, and the highest wisdom that we can receive for the day is action. So let us not wait until tomorrow. Let us move into action today, whatever action we are called to do. What we need to understand is the healer. We need to find a way to heal. And in order to heal, we need to recognize things as whole. As we recognize things as whole, we are able to complete certain things. It is a process, of course. It is not something like, well, yeah, I'm going to ascend, but it is day after day, one breath at a time, that we live our life, and there is no really right or wrong, because it is whatever the heart wants at any given time, what the heart's guide, what the heart leads us to at any given time. We have to be receptive to that, to the guidance, and from there we are being sculpted into something higher, something better. So what we have to do essentially is to keep the direction, to stay on that course, to stay on that direction. And from there we will just stay on course. And the highest wisdom that we can, the overall message that we can receive for us today is birth. It's really a birth, a rebirth for the old is gone, and now it is the time to be reborn into something new, something better, something greater. Well, I hope this message will have a meaning for you. I hope you will cultivate that divine I am presence that you are for that eternal truth, that eternal infinite, the true, the supreme divine love is the essence of who you are. The more you remember that, the easier your life will become, the more you will be able to flow with everything that comes into life. I'm not saying that there won't be challenges along the way, but you will have a vantage standpoint in relation to what life will bring to you. Well, I'm going to finish with a very short song. It's a short version of a beautiful song that celebrates life, celebrates the recreation of the day, every day, the morning, the sun that is coming, and life that is returning into a new cycle. It's called Morning Has Broken. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the world. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light, hidden so plain. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the world. Well, I send you my love and blessings, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you very much. Namaste.